fellow creators, and welcome back to another episode of Creatives Chat. Today we will be walking you through the photo shoot that Allie and I are doing today. Basically we're doing a sci-fi shoot. I have my costume ready. I will be doing my makeup shortly, and then we will be talking about the lights and all the good stuff that we normally talk about. So let's get into the costume. We are basically looking to do something that is 1980s retro. So without further ado, I'm gonna kind of show you my cosplay / costume. I do have to do a couple of alterations on the costume, including the shirt and the overshirt that goes on. But I will be showing you that shortly. Okay, so basically this shirt came as a full-length shirt. I'm gonna move this out of the way so you guys can see. This came as a full-length shirt. Actually cropped it and hemmed it with my serger because we are looking for a very 80s look, so I did do that. I did buy this from Amazon. I will link all of these products below. But I did buy this from Amazon because it was not going to be cheaper for me to just make it. So therefore I cropped it and hemmed it and made it look a little bit more polished. But yeah, that's what I did with this shirt. And then for this little crop top that is kind of see-through, comes like this. I need to cut it so that it's more like a V, so that it's a little bit more interesting looking, just because I know Allie, I know the way that it's going to be. So I am going to go ahead and get rid of all of this so it looks a little bit more ribbed, a little bit more etched, and basically make sure all this is gone. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. Okay, so I'm going to cut all this off. Don't need this. And then I am going to make a little V pattern. And I like to use a straight edge because I am anal retentive. And I'm just gonna do and flip and do the same thing with this side. And that's really all I needed to do with that. And the pants that I have are already made, so this is good to go. So I'm gonna get dressed and do the last little bit of my makeup and be all done. I am ready to shoot. I have made the alterations to my costume, and I am going to head over to Allie's, do the last part of my makeup, and I'm gonna head over there now because if I don't, I will be late. Okay, so I am just taking my Urban Decay palette, which is a little bit more of a colorful palette. I use it pretty often whenever I have to do anything that's 80s inspired, or 80s in general. I basically used a combination of light pink as well as a orange, and then I used a blue as well. With a cat eye, I always use double mascara. I mascara once and then I mascara again. And then at the end of it all, I always use like a highlighter on my inner corner. I went ahead and basically lined my eye, and yeah, that was basically my look for this shoot. I try to always apply a little bit more makeup than is actually needed just because the lights kind of soak everything up. And I am really excited for this shoot, and I am ready to head to Allie's.
Okay, so while I'm waiting for Sierra, the kiddie pool is in the garage filling because it's 100 degrees out today. And I wanted to show you, this is the background that I'm going to use in the pool, around the pool. And it's made from black weed fabric. And then I like to layer my backgrounds to get more texture. So I'm going to be layering this background with a painter's drop cloth. And that should give me that B-movie quality sci-fi look to the background. Something I'm very excited about. It'll also catch the gels well. And now I've got these lights that I bought off of Amazon, and I'm very excited because these lights are safe to put in the water. I will not be zapping Sierra with the lights, and they're very bright, and they've got their little remote, and I can change the colors without even touching them if I want. I notice they don't really stay together as a group with colors, but that's okay, they don't have to. What I do like is that we can get some ambience in the water, which is very exciting. I have a plan to wrap Sierra in cellophane, and I'm going to use blue, and it's going to wrap around her body to get maybe some of a cocoon look going on. And I really think this is going to add an interesting element with the water. Last, I have these tubes. I call them the tubes of life. I bought them off of Amazon. They're used for electrical wires. I guess you cover electrical wires with them, but for me, they're going to look like they're Sierra's life support when she's in the water, because she's been submerged for a while. Sierra has been in suspended animation for quite some time. And so she would have needed some form of life support to keep her going. And then I wanted to just show, this is the background now set up on the kiddie pool, and we're getting ready to shoot. Okay, so we're done. It's the end of the day. My husband is back from the track. The kiddie pool's all broken down. I just wanted to do a closeout, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the setup, especially when you're working with water. There's a few things that you have to understand about safety. First of all, if you're using lights with the kiddie pool, and you can use lights with the kiddie pool, you want to ensure that nothing has the potential to fall into the water with your model. So I made sure that I used my Elinchrom with a grid. This was my main light. Beauty dish. With my Elinchrom light. It's a Fotodiox beauty dish, and I used it with the grid because I really wanted to control the light. Also, because I used it with the Elinchroms are very strong, so I knew I could have the light fairly far back and fire it up, and I'd be able to hit her without getting it super close to the water, which is something I did not want to happen. Then I had a 3-light setup. Second light, a little Speedlight. Now they say that if this fell in the water, it's not gonna kill her, but we're not throwing it in the water. I had this little Speedlight set up so that it was shooting behind the plastic painter's drop cloth in front of the black weed background so that it would give that kind of bluey tone and it would kind of hit the back of her head when she was up out of the water a little bit. I just wanted to use it for some ambiance and bring in a little bit of the blue tones. But I wanted a little bit more blue coming from above. My garage ceiling is white. Well, I'm not going to put a boom arm over her with a light. That would risk, if something broke, that I would actually possibly have a light falling on her. And that's something that you really have to watch. So I did something different. Used my Elinchrom. Here's my Elinchrom head. I put this on a boom arm with a gel, and I aimed it to the ceiling behind the pool. So this way, if it fell, it was just falling on the concrete. And I'd rather lose a $300 light head than my best friend. So that was the 3-light setup. We had the beauty dish with the grid because we really wanted to direct the light. We had a Speedlight behind it, and because that layer of plastic was between the Speedlight and the pool, it would have guided it if it had fallen. It wouldn't have fallen in the pool. And then we had this aiming on the ceiling above her head so that it would bounce down and fill with the blue from above. So a little bit about the set. As I explained earlier, I used black weed fabric and clearish painter's plastic drop cloths. And when I'm working with the kiddie pool, I want 3 sides covered. You can't just set up a backdrop like you would for a normal portrait. And so one of the things I've learned is that if you want 3 sides covered, you still only want to use the minimal amount of light stands, which is 4. 4 light stands will give you 3 sides covered. But you can't add 2 crossbars to 1 light stand unless you have something like this. I will link these. So these allow you, they're at the Fotodiox site. You put this on top of your light stand, and then a crossbar comes here, and a crossbar comes here, and you can make a corner with 1 light stand. And I think that's great because that's really easier. It saves light stands, it saves space, it makes things less crazy. When I'm working in my garage, space is tight, especially with an 8-foot kiddie pool in a single car garage. Had this old ladder for years, but it's great. If you have a ladder, you just pop it in the kiddie pool and you can shoot straight down onto the model. And I really think that that is a great angle with a kiddie pool because then you're not even worrying about the sides anymore because everything's coming from, you're just shooting down and you're just capturing the ambiance of the water. So now I'm going to just leave you with the images and the little story that goes behind the images. See you again in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. So here she is in suspended animation with her life support that she no longer needs, and she rips apart from herself. She's freeing herself so that she can go back to the world. But it's 1,000 years later, and she is awake. She finds her weapon. She needs to remember what to do with it. She remembers what to do with it. And now it's time to go out into the world and explore a new world 1,000 years since she went into suspended animation.